And here we are in the round robin. The tournament continues, the Sisters Call Cup, and we have Team Zugzi against Team Agumi, two of the teams that did the best so far in the round robin. So now we have the blue team here with Zugzi, the captain himself, on Thrall, Artanis on Imperius, Aldanto on Rhaegar, Harkness on Mal'Ganis, and Whitey is playing Li Ming. We find ourselves again on Hanamura, and over on the right side we have, well, I guess you could call them the challengers. We got Team Agumi with Agumi himself on Auriel. We got Balsa on Zarya. Itrex is playing Tychus. Bibshik on Phoenix. And Warnick on Mirrodin. So a quick reminder, the tournament is a Polish tournament, basically from the community, for the community. 95% of the players in this tournament are players. And right now, we're going to see how they're going to fare here in our round robin phase, as we have some interesting talents being chosen. For example, Trash Lightning is in the house. Nice, haven't seen that one in a while. And we have also Force Armor for Li Ming. Now, as explained previously, this tournament is copying the META Madness rules of my own event. So that means that we have pre-bans. We have, in this case, 25 heroes that are banned and are not available for the entire tournament whatsoever. And then every single hero that gets played can only be played once during the match. So that creates, obviously, a lot of scarcity once that we're moving into game 3, 4, and 5. But here in this case, we're looking at a best of 3 series in the round robin in the group stage of the tournament. So, who's going to take it here? First of all, when we're talking Tychus, we're starting off with quarterback. We've seen a fair amount of hybrid builds actually for Tychus just recently in this particular event. So we'll see if there's going to be more of that. But we have some interesting stuff here. I mean, the triple frontline that we're seeing for Team Zugzi, for example, could bring a huge amount of damage. Once that you have Thrall stacking his 1, then you have Imperius and Mal'Ganis at the front. They alone can already do so much work here. And Zugzi's team has been doing exceptionally well. You can basically argue the same for Team Agumi too. The two of them are currently leading in the standings for the event. We have them on Hanamura going for the Sentinels pretty quickly now to try and get a bit of lane pressure going. And there's obviously a very heavy focus when we're talking about Hanamura on pressuring camps. We've seen plenty of strategies where teams have, for example, gone into Jimmy with Executioner here on this map, at least in this tournament, just to get a little bit ahead. Now, one of the things that Zugzi on Thrall is going to do throughout all of this is try... nice dodge on the Stonebolt. Is try and face off against the 4-man as much as he can, just simply because you need to stack your Trash Lightning. If you want to get to the quest reward, then you really need to do that. That is just, by the way, an incredible damage boost if you get there, because the prioritization on heroes allows you to poke safely from a distance, and it will guarantee you that you can poke your opponent down consistently. But with every single stack that you gain, you of course increase your damage, so this is going to have a pretty big impact as well. Now, we have in this case defensive shielding for Zarya. We talked a little bit about the blue team, but when you look over towards the red team, to the right side of the map, we have our traditional double front, double back line. And in this case, it is Zarya, so no triple damage with her. But Zarya can provide that shield and can really help the team out. So they're playing this a bit more aggressive, I would argue. Pays off dividends in the early game, as you can see. They're taking the wall down on those towers. One of the big questions later on is just simply going to be how they can win the big team fights, because when we have Thrall stacking, it could really end up in a situation where he is absolutely destroying. Phoenix, also interesting choice. We're going full StarCraft on the back line for Team Agumi. Down here at the bottom of the map, Phoenix not present right now. Thrall with more stacks. He's sitting at 11 stacks already 3 minutes in. They give him an enormous amount of stacks here. They're just clumping up the entire time. And essentially, every single time the cooldown is available, Zugzi is able to get more damage in. It should already be reflected in his damage output. He's at 9,000 currently, against the 11,000 that we're getting for Li Ming. Lots of aggression, by the way, at the top too. Bibshik, nice. The lunge from Imperius gets dodged. But I can essentially guarantee you that Thrall is very, very happy with how things are going currently. 12,000 damage for Zarya. So she is the big damage dealer for the red team, up to now at least. When Zarya goes brrr, everybody is in danger. But I'm really scared for the red team, considering that Thrall is doing so well in the early stages. We're 4 minutes in, he's at 13 stacks and nearly halfway done with this quest. We have him with a completed level 4 talent too. So what usually takes ages to complete could be done in a very reasonable time frame if these fights keep presenting themselves to Thrall. And time will tell, but that's definitely a bit of a concern. Then again, killing him is one of the best ways to make sure that he doesn't get any stacks going. And there's a Stormbolt, and that should be the end. And yep, he gets kicked into the corner. Now he got himself one additional stack, and the presence of the red team at the bottom of the map, of course, also allows now for more pressure on the payload for the blue team as they're coming towards the top. But yep, down at the bottom of the map, we're currently having Itrax and Balsa doing their thing. And of course, as we're also looking towards the top, that entire objective has been successfully turned in. The red team is trying to compensate with the aggression at the bottom of the map, as just talked about. And they're doing pretty okay here. So I'm not sure if that trade is really worth it. Thrall with a few more stacks in the attempt to defend, but I gotta be honest, that was a very nice reaction from Team Agumi, and it nets them an entire fort. Whereas Muradin, for example, he tried to slow down the blue team and did it successfully. But even if he dies here, it's not a problem. It would still be a worthy trade. So great moves by Team Agumi, and structurally they have now pulled ahead. Thrall with 16 stacks for now. Level 10 talents are going to be next up. We have both of the teams with level 7 available. And yeah, I mean, Thrall can still poke, but in this case, they don't make it that easy. They made it easy enough early on when they clumped up, but if you just hit the isolated ones, it's not always going to grant you another stack. But Thrall is still doing exceptionally well, even with Muradin trying to move in and hit him with another Stormbolt here. So they're way too close, and he's at 18 stacks now. I mean, damn. Yeah, his damage is going to explode over here. Thrall is already at 17,000 damage, which is pretty respectable. But there are more kills. Mal'Ganis goes down, and by now we're looking at 3 kills to 0. So as much as I like the progress that Thrall is making, the team is still struggling. They lost the fort, even though they won the objective, and they now also are behind by 3 kills and have Team Agumi hitting an early level 10. So there needs to be some scaling going on as the game progresses for Thrall to be even more of a threat and having an impact here. But the team needs also to be able to win some of these team fights and get kills themselves. So this is going to be a very, very tough battle for them. So sentries are currently getting attacked. And while that happens, the top lane gets defended. Mal'Ganis is now moving over too. I like the rotational play that we're getting from Team Agumi. Now there's obviously a bit of a drawback to what they're currently doing. They have very late access to their own sentinel. So that's a bit of a problem. But they are able to trade that for actual damage on the fort, which is of course great for them. Now, level 10 abilities available on both sides now. No surprises here so far. Phoenix has to be a little bit careful as he starts to rotate in. Tiger's also now here, and more hits are coming. And Zugzi is getting the damage out, and the team is actually abandoning the camp. So maybe an opportunity for the blue team to even steal this. More hits coming, more stacks. Eeg is used. A bit low. Salvo from Phoenix. They're still trying to get more hits in. Zugzi is just hitting fantastic wolves right now. Beautiful connect. And Warwick is in trouble, but able to jump out with Muradin. But Thrall, he keeps hitting them. He is able to get another wolf in. Finally, first blood for the blue team. And they also get Oriel. That's 2 kills. And their Sentinel is still working it, still doing damage here. As Thrall and the boys can essentially now try and take the structure down. The problem is that quite a few of them are starting to run out of mana. Thrall included, so he's trying. Nice tee up from Mal'Ganis. There's just not enough damage behind it. Li Ming in some trouble. Zarya moving in and pushing them back. And of course, Imperius not here for that fight. So currently just sitting at the top, pushing this out further, getting experience for the team. We have now 2 kills to 3. Everybody has to back off, and that allows more freedom for Team Agumi on the camp capture as they come in for the next turret. But Thrall is now sitting at 21. So he's 9 stacks short of completing the quest. And they started to catch up in the kill count too. So we have now Li Ming still in the lead with top damage on 28,000, 27,000 for Zarya. And then Thrall comes in with 25, as they are also getting their next camp, grant some vision, go for the payload. And this is game number 1. I mean, again, this is the first map in the best of 3 series that we have here in front of us. Muradin, this is a low 2, is starting to move in here. Stormbolts are coming out once again. Thrall with a few more hits. Aegis, nice. Could use for Sundering, but we have Mal'Ganis dying first. Thrall has not used his ult yet. There was definitely an opportunity for it. Now uses it late. Questionable how much that really did for him. And Imperius dies because Rhaegar got a bit too stingy on that ult. Aldante wanted to save it for later and thought they could get out without him dropping an Ancestral. And then got proven wrong fairly quickly. So that is unfortunate for the blue team. They lose their top side fort and more shots will be fired because the payload at the bottom of the map is currently uncontested. So for Team Megumi, that is quite nice. They're going to be very, very happy with this. And of course, locking those additional kills in doesn't hurt either. Now, shots are being fired towards the top first. And it's Sentinel time again. The red team with a level 13 talent advantage is apparently even thinking about trying to contest this and see if they can grab it for themselves. Li Ming hasn't died yet. 35,000 damage for her. Once her level 13, as is everybody else here too. Muradin, and he hits the Stormbolt on Thrall, who gets the Ancestral. This time Rhaegar is early for fellow Orc brother. He's dropping that Ancestral right away. For everybody else, a little bit more on the stingy side. He knows where his loyalties lie. But now Thrall with another couple of good connects, gets isolated and gets killed. So, yeah, it was initially a pretty sweet move from them. But, well, the red team hasn't won that fight yet. They're losing Tychus, and now it's a 4 versus 4. Another fantastic lunge with the double connect from Imperius. The salvo gets used. Zarya is a bit in trouble, but Mal'Ganis and Rhaegar are also dropping low. And now it's time for Imperius to get focused. So they have to retreat here. It is really too much momentum. Team Megumi with a big play. Imperius tried to turn it and couldn't, so he dies. 1.5 level lead for Team Megumi, and they are 4 kills ahead. It is really a question whether or not Thrall on a fully completed level 1 quest is going to be able to turn this around or not. They are still able to get some damage in here, and they should be able to get a kill on at least Auriel. Li Ming wants it and should be able to get it. There's another heal, but there's the Calamity kill. Mal'Ganis gets out, and the rest of the team is still fighting with Thrall coming through with another wolf. Li Ming, though, gets murdered by Zarya, but Thrall, does he have the damage? Does he get the heals? And the answer is currently no. Could turn, and honestly, I thought he could kill, and he does kill Phoenix. I was a little bit surprised here. I really thought his cooldowns would be ready faster, and that he could turn the game or the fight and go for a quick kill on Phoenix himself. So all he ended up doing is trading, but it's of course a benefit for him considering that he also stacks the 1 even further. And his damage output is still solid. I mean, 44,000. He is the 3rd highest damage dealer in the game right now, and should be able to do more once his level 1 is completed. Is that going to be enough to catch up with the red team? That's the big question mark, of course, in the game. Because so far, I gotta say, Team Megumi is doing great here. They're doing a fantastic job in persevering in these fights. Sentinel is taken again, and just as a quick reminder, the red team hasn't lost a single structure yet, major structure. All those forts are still in play, so they're holding on to them. And yeah, that was not too shabby. So now instead we have the attack for the turret, and they steal it away from the blue team. Only one that hasn't died yet on the blue team side is Rhaegar, just saying. So the doggy has survived through all of this. But they are playing very passive right now, in anticipation, of course, of their level 20 talent. Sorry, first to level 16. I mean, yes, they want level 22, but I suppose they're going to have a little bit more patience for that. Unless we have some crazy hack coming alive that I haven't heard of yet. Now, with the hacks, the shots coming, and potentially a flank now with level 16, I'm keeping my eye on Thrall still. Somebody has to turn this game around for the blue team if you want to have a chance here, because right now it's Team Megumi calling the shots. They're still ahead. Not by that much anymore, but still a solid lead for them. Thrall comes in. Yeah, another couple of hits. One more and he has the quest completed. It will be very early still. Ah, nice interrupt on the salvo. Well done. And Phoenix is gone. Phoenix destroyed. Now they're turning it, trying to go for another kill potentially on Muradin, but the Ancestral also used. Rest of the team is a little bit low back there. What about Thrall? He was actually chased by Muradin, trying to re-engage into the fight. Still not able to complete his quest. Trash Lightning needs a little bit more than that. Zarya goes down. Thrall moves in with the rest of them. Maybe a wolf, and yes, he connects it, and that should be the end of Muradin. So all of a sudden, we're looking at 3 kills for Team Zugzy. Nicely done. Looking way better now, and they also can take down Tigers. Job well done. Fantastic fight for them. Payload can still be worked around now, and they are going for the mercenary camps that we have on the map, plus start to push their bot lane out. So this fight, it changed things. Now we have the blue team in the lead. It took them a long time to gain enough momentum in this game. Rhaegar, with all those kills that we just saw a second ago, is now the only hero in the entire game that hasn't died yet. So the only survivor over here. Beyonce would be proud. We have 9 kills to 9. Yeah. And that gives us more than a kill per minute. Yeah, but how is the red team now going to react? They have so far dominated the situation here. That last fight did not work for them though. So now they have to try and see how they can just turn this around again. With Zarya, they had a lot of survivability in all of these fights, and it showed. So now they have to see if they can maybe just connect there again. Get some quick kills. And they were close, honestly. They nearly took out Thrall, and if he dies, it's a lot of the damage gone. If they can drop Li Ming, that's even better. And we'll see where they're headed with this. More of the camps are now taken. Teams are also playing this like semi-passive right now. Obviously, we're close enough to level 20 that could become interesting for them. But not a single one of the teams has reached level 19 yet. So we might still see that battle over the objective as the payload gets consistently pushed. And Muradin is actually pushing it solo now. So somebody on the side of the blue team will have to rotate over. They took the Sentinel out at the top. But they would be well advised to try and progress with it a bit further. Get some more heroes into the circle so that they can push it faster. Currently we have only 1 to 2 that are trying to push it. And the red team is apparently still willing to compete with it, to contest it. Thrall is done with his quest, so now things are going to be much better on lane. Doesn't really make a difference when we're here in the middle of anything, but once that we're talking about them pushing for structures and they can be targeted first, then it's going to be, of course, huge with the targeting priority. But here in the middle, not that big of a deal. They still get damage out. Nice. Zugzy, careful. Low. And the Ancestral, unbelievable. Somehow connected before he dies. It really looked like Rhaegar got a bit more lucky than anything else there. Or Thrall got lucky, depending on how you look at it. But that is 2 heroes down on the side of Team Megumi. They lose Zarya, they lose Muradin. That's the front line gone. And half a level to 20. Blue team is now absolutely running this game. Wolf is a little bit too short, but Thrall is still able to get some connects. Payload is very close at this point. So with the payload coming in, we're going to have them push for it and for the shots, and we're having very likely also a direct attack onto the structures here. That's a bit of a side note. Thrall is actually second highest damage in the game now. So he overtook Zarya. The only hero that is still performing better than him on the raw hero damage numbers is Li Ming on his own team. And now with the payload connected, this is where we're going to see the shots fired. So already down at the bottom of the map, that's going to eliminate a fort. Few more camps to be taken. The level 20 talent is now ready. Thrall spec everything into the Wolf essentially, so there is no change on his level 16 talent. He's still getting the synergy with his level 4. But they can now go for the camp at the top, and they take this, of course, too. So it will help them with more pressure through that wall. And if they siege, if they would siege up on any of the structures, they could definitely start to utilize Thrall and his completed quest a little more. Just can keep poking. On level 16, I haven't spoken about it too much. 6 stacks so far, the Reservoir of Hope. So another one that will help Oriel. And healing powers as all of this continues. Let's see how much she can stack that. Still a level missing until they have level 20. They're slowly getting there. So 20 is on the way. Another camp is being claimed. And Rhaegar plus Thrall. The dynamic duo right here. Absolutely disgusting mount for Thrall. Tigers also with 7 stacks on his Master Assassin. So while you do not take the talent to complete it, we obviously wouldn't mind if you did. Yeah, Melgan is kind of unsuccessful there. Gets met with a Stormbolt, gets met with a Whip. nowhere he can really go from there. But the poke will keep happening. They got a bit of vision, they take the wall down. Everybody will have level 20 in a moment, and there it is. Boom. Can now use that whenever they want with the Thrall and just keep poking a bit. We got the Shield of Hope. Tigers with a big red button in just a moment. Or at least so I would assume. We get Singularity Charge. Okay, so not playing around the invulnerability here, but Singularity Charge instead. And now it should also soon be time for the next objective. Both of the teams are not onto 2 keeps. It's a pretty intense first map between them. I mean, it definitely is. So now the push towards the bottom of the map. Once again, Thrall with a few hits and nice damage connection. May also now go for the opponent's team again. Artanis needs to maybe spear out here. Muradin is already jumping and he gets caught. Stormbolt hits. Melganis is sitting in the back. The Ancestral, super quick, but now they are locked into a bit of a corner. Zarya with her own ult, and we have Muradin mega low. He tries to jump out, but they are turning instantly on Zarya and kill her instead of chasing down Muradin. And then Phoenix dies just half a second later. Fantastic job, but the root hits Muradin, and even with the Aegis of Auriel, I do not... Oh, he had his cooldown back. Good for him. That was mega close, but he was actually able to escape. So, yeah, nice. Muradin survives. That's 3 survivors still in the game for them. 79,000 damage for both Li Ming and for Thrall, whereas Tigers and Zarya are really starting to fall behind. And of course, Thrall can just continue here. Comes in with another Wolf, connects his abilities, and they push for that keep. There is a payload on the map as well that they could try and grab. And with the defense doing... Oh, actually, they're re-engaging. Another lunge. The CC train on Muradin. Yeah, get CC'd, baby. They're turning on Tigers and pull off the same play once again. And that is 15 kills to 9. Great job by Team Zugzi. And it seems like they want to end it here. They don't want to bother with the objective any longer and go for the payload. But with 4 heroes dead, Zarya just now coming back, they want to try and end the game. And they are already damaging the core. So, yep, damage is dished out. We got a 3-man defense. Not sure if they can really fully complete this. Are they willing to walk back? Are they fully committed? Or how is this going to play out for them? 40% on the core. We're looking at 30, 20. And it seems like they got the damage. And they do 10-0. There it is, the victory for the blue team in game number 1 of the best of 3 series at the round robin of the Sisters Call Cup. GG. We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match, please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience. And of course, it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before I continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series. Well, we're heading straight into Battlefield of Eternity, our second map in the series. The 10 heroes that we just saw on our previous map are of course now also unavailable, which changes the equation a bit when it comes to drafting and which heroes you are going to go for. Aldante with Deckard Cain for Team Zugzi, the team in the lead. We got Zugzi himself on Artanis. Artanis has played a lot in this tournament, and for very obvious reasons. I mean, I went over this in the past, but there are a lot of typical damage dealers against the Immortal that are pre-banned, so Artanis becomes a really nice option to add some additional damage here. We got Artanis on Jaina, Whitey on Reyna, another great tool against the Immortal, and then Harkness on Arthurs. Over on the right side of the map, we got Agumi on Malfurion. We have Warnick on ETC, Bibshik on Sonya, Atrax is playing Alarak, and Balsa on Sylvanas. So, let's see which team is going to be able to get ahead on Battlefield of Eternity. Are we going to go for a third map after this, or is Team Zugzi going to close that out with a 2-0? We'll see. I mean, right now, we got Harkness already at the front trying to deal with ETC, and there was a lot of poke against Arthur, so he's dropped very, very low here. But we'll see if we can do a little bit more with that. With level 1, we get Rhyme, for example, for Arthur's right now. As all of this continues. And then all the way up at the top, Zugzy himself is currently just sitting tight here and is, as usual, playing the side laner for the team. The real action is down at the bottom of the map as the 4-mans are colliding and are doing their thing. So, yeah, off we go. But then again, at this point, we're already having the next attack on Aatrox, and he's dead too. Yeah, that's a kill. Anubarak is gone. And Warnick is also on the move back out, but gets killed. And I think these two will probably escape. Sylvanas was trying to follow up on that and jump after them, but hasn't really happened. So with that said and done, we're now looking at the top, where we have Zugzy and Vipshik. Still locked into the 1v1 with 2 kills at the bot lane. This is obviously going fairly alright for the blue team. Then again, they were all super low, so they had to retreat, and that costs them quite a bit of time too. It might actually lead to Team Megumi getting the the camp, which I guess is the first objective this early in the game for the teams. So Team Zugzy trying to invade right now. We got Jaina moving in from the side. A heavy battle as both of the teams are committing, but Jaina gets killed. She's down. The red team moving in, stealing the camp, or claiming it. I guess they did most of the work on it anyway, so I think stealing is probably the wrong word to use here. But they were able to secure it. We got on level 4 now also Frozen Wastes. We got Ruby. And over here we got a Shattered Ground currently for Sonya, who continues with a slam build. Now, all the way up at the top, we're having a bit of a rotation going on because the red team wanted to make sure that we can also secure the second camp, so they wanted to have a few more of the heroes on lane. Zugzy was, from the looks of it, not really too pressured of doing anything here. We have on the bottom left, in the meantime, the next mercenary camp attacked, and now it's of course time to focus on the shamans a little bit and start to do their thing there. Over on the right side, that's where we now have Team Megumi doing their thing and getting the same camp. It's all about trying to create some pressure on the lane as the objective spawns, that the opponent has to make a decision whether or not they stay with all their forces in the middle or if they start to rotate a couple of their heroes towards the sides. Down at the bottom of the map, Vipshik is taking care of the shaman camp as quickly as possible. Whereas oh my god, over the left, oof, that was a quick kill. Artanis is down pretty quickly. Now they take down Anubarak too, which is of course a nice little payoff for them because they remove all the sadism from him. Definitely is going to help with reduction on his damage output. We're at 3 kills to 2. And, well, for now, there's the next little lock on Malfurion, but no follow-up. The Howling Blast at least connected. So, Arthas, yeah, so far fine. They're actually trying to go for ETC. The Howling Blast is there. Penetrating round for Jimmy. And, the heal, nice. That was actually pretty close. ETC could have died there. Jimmy came in and pushed him back with the penetrating round, straight back into the fight. So this is something where the red team could have lost another one of their heroes. They did definitely lose the halftime show though. So this is where all of those level 1 talents from from Anubarak and from Reyna are making the big difference. Arthas is also able to zone them out, but they gotta hurry a little bit if they really want this. Sylvanas and Sonya both started to do damage on the other side of the map. But if it comes to a straight up race, then it is clearly the blue team that benefits from all of this. They are just doing better in that regard. So, as is, we now have even another fight coming up from the looks of it. Warnick? Okay. Couldn't go for a swap or anything here to put ETC really into a problem zone. So instead, we're now having the push with the Immortal at the bottom of the map. It's even experience for the two teams. Nobody has been taking a big advantage or anything of the sorts. But here comes the control from Deckard Cain again. They were trying to lock down Sylvanas and Malfurion. It's already a bit of nice little damage that we're getting from the blue team. They shouldn't be able to get the fort, but they broke the wall and they will get some damage on the major structure on top of that. Yeah, no, again! ETC! Mega low, but they saved the day, and now we have the fort at 50% of its HP as a pretty solid first objective. Yeah, that's not too shabby. So, all the way up at the top, We have Zugzi starting to make the play and make the push down at the bottom of the map. Here comes the next push that we have here. Itrax, of course, in this case, still eager to get himself a few more stacks of Sadism. It's all about trying to get Alarak into a place where later on in the game he can do some work. Interestingly enough, we have also Echo Pedal for ETC, so technically speaking, he could go into stage dive here and try and act a bit as a side laner. Highly doubt that that's happening. I mean, no, I would still expect him to go for a mosh pit though. It allows him with a bit more clear just in general. So it's a good talent to have with the damage that he gets there. But you oftentimes see that in the past, at least, when a hero tries to go for some more wave clear so that on the lane he has more of an impact. And that happens, of course, with a side lane ETC that tries to stage dive and just act as a global. But this is Battlefield of Eternity, so it's a bit doubtful that that's what we're getting. They take ETC down as well, and they're also absolutely running down Malfure in here. That's the power of the aura that Arthas is running. And he's continuing this even further. Seems like the team didn't believe. Like, look at this. Arthas is all alone. And finally, that Kane comes in. But I think if some of the guys would have followed, they might have been able to take down another hero. Or at least threaten him further. We have level 10 abilities, though. And that gives us the ring for Jaina. So, she can start and ring that up. Once we got stay a while and listen for Deckard Cain. On top of that, the army of the dead now for Arthas. So, objective is up and running. Objective number 2. And Jimmy and Artanis, they are racing that thing down. Easy. Ooh, quick hit, quick jump. The ring comes out. Does not connect properly, but Jimmy is still alive. They get a kill on Alarak. ETC, indeed with stage dive. Uses it in the fight, doesn't get too much value out of it. I was waiting for the Mosh the entire time, but after they take down Alarak, they're also able to go for Sylvanas and drop her too. Quest is completed for Arthas. That makes the situation for the blue team even better. So they're looking solid. They look good here. They have the lead in the series, and now at 7 kills to 2, they are starting to take a pretty big advantage also on Battlefield of Eternity, with the option of making this the final map of this best of 3. So, job well done. Damage output, 20,000 Arthas, yeah. Lots of aura damage, and of course, as he was following several heroes, like Anorak earlier, pretty much single-handedly. We have the same amount of damage on Sylvana's side. Deadly Charge for Alarak when it comes to level 10 abilities, by the way. We already saw Leap in action from Sonya, even though it didn't do a lot for them. Now, this is a big shield. It's a 4-man push. ETC and Artanis are both at the bottom of the map. And ETC in 14 seconds could then move back towards the top with the stage dive if he's needed. But here comes the Hyperion already. They definitely want that forward, and they are very, very likely to get it. I mean, I would be shocked if they didn't drop that thing. But the question still is, can they do more? Can they get a kill? Can they push this towards the keep wall? And they might try and do that. Ults are essentially all up right now. And here comes the play for Sylvanas. Arthas! Yes, he's there immediately with his aura. So, nice little moves, but Sylvanas was able to jump out. That wall, though, that wall can't jump anywhere. Stay a while. Get wrecked. Sonya's dead. Quest completed for Jaina. Great plays made by Team Zugzi right now. And after the wall has been destroyed, they're now pushing for the keep. ETC comes in and says hello. It's immediately swapped over a little bit. Jaina was able to escape. What about Arthas? Yeah, comes in, pops his army, gets the Howling Blast connected. And that's the end of ETC. But they also lost Jaina. And now Arthas too. I don't think they're going to be too sad about it, considering that they just dropped the opponent's keep. But hey. Oh, another little jump from Sonya, mainly to save Alarak here, and that worked out. But can they kill someone? They cannot. I don't think that for the blue team they care too much about the heroes they just lost. First of all, they really gave as good as they got. They took down multiple heroes. And then, second of all, while there is still a fort standing at the bot lane, they now destroyed everything topside. The fort is gone, the keep is gone. This was an absolute fantastic push from the perspective of the blue team, and they're going to be very, very happy with this. Makes it difficult for Team Megumi. Team Megumi is now in that awkward spot where they need to try and come back into it. Now, they have the lineup. If they lock in some good CC with Sonya, with ETC slides, with Alarak following up on this, then they can definitely do a ton of damage. but they need to get some kills for themselves. 31,000 damage for Sylvanas. We got 26,000 for Jimmy. He's by now the top damage dealer for Team Zugzy. Another penetrating on for Jimmy, talking about him. Here comes the Hyperion too. They get the damage in, leap, the kill, but the ring connect from Jaina just after that, and they're dropping not only Anubarak but also Malfurion. Yeah, nice try by ETC to get away from that spot, but unless he's willing to stage dive, he is gonna fall. I'm actually shocked that he hasn't stage dived yet. What is he waiting for? Better weather? Alright, there it is. Stage dives out. But he could have done that a while ago. I think he was probably afraid that he was too close in range and that a single attack could take him out. So moved a little bit further, but that nearly was what would have caused his death. So he's able to stage dive out, uses the cooldown, and now they can just continue on their own mercenary camp. Because the problem is that the next objective is now called up. And there is level 13 on each side, so talents are the same. That fort at the bottom of the map could take damage though. And oh, Jimmy! Yeah, this was Jimmy. Sylvanas takes him down, and that's a problem. Sonya misses the leap. Artanis is gone, so it's a 4 versus 4. And make it a 4 versus 3. The healer is dead. Now it's Sylvanas that gets attacked here. She dies as well. The entire team is essentially getting absolutely wrecked here, with Deckard Cain coming through with another beautiful story that he tells to put everybody to sleep here. So, yeah, Deckard Cain, alte Lava-Backe. 15 kills to 6. And that is now 4 versus 1 on the map. A fort gone. Essentially 100% shield, or it should be in a few seconds, and potentially what will help Team Zugzy to go straight for the core, because they're already working the wall at the bottom of the map with a lot of success. Yes, the red team is now respawning, and they're actually trying to go for a quick kill here, but Iceberg is already used. The root is a little bit too late. Here comes the play for Jaina, and she's down. Jaina is gone. Okay, maybe they got a little bit too greedy after all. Could change things. 38 seconds. I honestly expected the blue team to wait with the Immortal just a little bit. Not by too much. Just delay them getting the final shot in. So now it's a 4 versus 4 at the bottom of the map. Since Sonya is still at the top. That's why they're trying to fight here. ETC is low. Howling Blast. Is this the moment? They go for Malfurion. Leap from Sonya, interrupting the ult from Deckard Cain, basically. But Malfurion and Anubarak, they were in real trouble here. Anubarak more than Malfurion. Now they get a kill on Sonya, and this is all happening while it's a 4 versus 5. It's crazy. Jaina's now on her way back, but they're already continuing with the battle. That's the end of Jimmy. He's gone. Jaina not here yet. Red team is pushing, but while this happens, the keep is falling at the bot lane. So 16 versus 16 talent, still for the two teams. And the blue team doesn't even push with this. They just let it happen. They're believing in the power of the Immortal and that it will take the keep anyways, which is indeed true. 16 kills to 8, and the keep is eliminated. So that only leaves the core on the side of Team Agumi. And again, both of these teams are very high up in the standings currently of the tournament. So with that, we now have a lot of action going on here for the red team, for the blue team. They can essentially try and go for the camps, which they're now doing. They took the one at the bottom of the map. They have Artanis at the top and are starting there. Get closer to 20. Catapults are your friend, at least if you're playing on the blue team. And for Team Agumi, it's about taking risks right now. They need to take some calculated risks and really try and see if they can get some structures, take some heroes down, maybe gang up on somebody. Because if they just play a straight up game here, it's not been working so far. Jimmy is on 42,000 damage currently. Top damage in the game is still Sylvanas. Arthas, and yes, there's the kill. That's exactly how you start this up. Nice. Team Agumi with some good moves. They are able to get a crucial kill. That was important. The question is just simply, is it too little too late? They're taking their own mercenary camp. Objective, by the way, has not been called yet, so if they take it this quickly, it's not going to spawn during the Immortal phase. Catapults need to be taken out. And, of course, we have Sylvanas, so possession is a thing. Needs to get her charges there, but still, if you have possession, catapults, it's pretty much the way to go. And is going to help them. It's 15 minutes into the game now. Objective, small objective, the Shaman Camp is claimed. Talking, by the way, about the scaling late game and just performing generally well here. We have by now Anubarak at 130 stacks. So he definitely had a bit of a hard time. He was taken down several times, but now he is able to get himself at least some stacks. Leap missing. That is actually the second leap that missed here from Sonya, so that's unfortunate. Not only did ETC stage dive in, but then Sonya misses a leap, and all of that is happening while Team Agumi is still down in experience and the objective is coming up. So now they are lacking those abilities. So it's a bit unfortunate for them, the situation. I'm not sure if they can still fight this, but those are big cooldowns that just got burned, and it also might result, yes, ETC is indeed dying. So Team Zugzi on the objective again in a great spot, and Jimmy is using that to his advantage together with Artanis as they move in and burn that Immortal down. But Team Agumi, I told you, they gotta take risks, and they're here again. There's a push for the core at the bottom of the map. The shield on the core is falling. They want that fight. Wailing Arrow is out, but it is Anubarak that dies. Sadism again back down to 100, and now Jimmy comes in. One attack after another. So does Jaina. Just drop the burst damage on them, and they're not even bothering with the objective anymore. It's only Malfurion that is there, and what is he gonna do to stop them? Throw weed at them? That's just not going to do anything. Maybe they're going to be a little bit too high to care about the core, who knows. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. So Malfurion goes down, and that is game. That's a 2-0 victory for Team Zugzi against Team Agumi as they lock in the victory on Battlefield of Eternity and in the best of 3 series here in the round robin phase of the tournament. GG and well played.